Greetings, beautiful people. Welcome to the space. Thank you so much for choosing to share your precious, irreversible resource, your time, your attention, your presence, your heart to connect in such a way. We will wait for a few moments until everyone is joining. Yes, Luca, hello from Italy. Also, Danny and Susan, if you guys want to write where you're logging in from and how you're feeling, what are you excited about, why did you feel drawn to join this call, feel free to write it in our chat box. And I also do welcome you to turn on your camera, so then I will connect in a much more deeper way. Right. Susan from Denver, Colorado. Beautiful. Welcome, Susan. Hi, Layla. Welcome, welcome. Yay, guys, it's so much better when you're here. Like, I'm just so much more excited. Yes, please write down also how you're feeling, what are you excited about, why you're here. Is it just it's not just, but it's a big deal actually. The foreplay with existence training, is that the Bodhisattva vow that got you excited? Just share a little bit of where you're at, how you're feeling, what are you excited about, so then I can also serve you and shop for you in the best way possible while we're connecting together. Just gonna wait for a few more shares. Really, guys, the more detailed you get, the more detailed the gift for you will get as well. So please don't be shy. And maybe you guys can share about, the foreplay with existence, whether you already joined the previous calls, whether this is the first time you've heard about it now, or the Bodhisattva vow. Did you hear anything about that before? Or you don't know anything about it and you're curious what that is? Just share a little bit with me, because this is going to be, as always, a transmission. So again, the deeper I can feel you, the deeper I can give you the gift back, because I can actually know what's with you. Luca, curious about the program. Danny, I'm driving. Okay. Leila, Halison, thank you for this session. I was interested in it because I was curious and need some sense of connectivity and joy in the world where it feels though to experience given everything that's going on. Yeah, so true, so true. Thank you, Leila, for choosing to connect here. My deepest pleasure. And yes, Danny, you participate, and then when you feel ready, you can maybe jump on and speak with us also. All right. So the way we're going to do it today is, as always, I think I'm going to share first with you some logistical matters and also some energetic matters that is possible to express through words, on the more logical side, let's say. And then we're going to go more into the mystical, energetic space where things are still can be heard in words, but it really is something much deeper within ourselves, within our hearts. And so then we can stay with that energy within ourselves and let that fuel us and hopefully charge us for the rest of our lives. Because I really, when I was writing it yesterday, just, for the final webinar call before joining for this 11 weeks training, it was kind of a big deal for me to acknowledge that, like, wow, I want to write about the Bodhisattva vow. I want to welcome into that. And, I can't think of a bigger decision, to be quite honest with you, than that. And it's not casual at all for a soul to really commit to this path, to total awakening, to serving other beings. If it comes from a deep space, from the heart, and also request all the support of the cosmos and all the beings that have ever existing or will be existing in this existence, that have been sharing goodness in the world and have been sharing the true care and love that is required for this play to unfold in a harmonious manner. So, I really kind of tuned in with myself. I was like, are you ready? Like, you just want to, like, as an intro webinar to your training, just do this, like, one of the biggest vows that possibly could be, and and it just felt like a yes. So I'm prepared for it. And also, I've listened to some recordings of some enlightened masters that have also been part of my journey, and just let their frequency and their voice to infuse my being, just as I'm about to share this with you. And, I also welcome you always to really make it your own. Because, sometimes some ancient teachings, they can sound a little like, not archaic, but like, things shift, and language around certain things also shift. And yet that inner promise, that inner vow, that stays the same. It doesn't matter what language we say it. It doesn't even have to be with language. It's something to do with the heart itself, that choosing to step into a very specific timeline. And so this is what we're going to be speaking today about. Okay, and I'm just going to read the comments for a moment. Susan, needing a full reboot. Really looking forward to exploring. Only able to type with one finger. Sounds good. One finger is good. It's a funny story. When I moved to New York, in 2009, I never used the phone or computer before that. I lived in a farm in Belarus. And all of a sudden, I had to learn everything and survive and make money and study and type. And I remember in the beginning I was just typing with one finger from both hands for like years. It seemed faster to do that than to learn the full thing. And honestly, I'm still not fully tapping with 10 fingers, but just two are still the main ones, and just the other ones sometimes to join the party. So just start merging all the timelines. So, okay, guys, let me first then share with you just a bit of a structure for Play with Existence, for those of you that are curious to join, so then you can tune in for yourself what this is about, and then we will go into the Bodhisattva vow and kind of turn it into a full-on ceremony. Also, just for the time limits, I think today it's going to be about an hour and a half. Let me know if all of you can be part of that and enjoy the full spectrum, and we will take it from there. If somebody is short on time, tell me, so then I can adjust, so then you can actually really fully receive the whole journey and not feel like you have to run and feel stressed at the end of it. So write to me, guys, if an hour and a half is good. So the program itself, I guess I could show you some things also on my screen, but just to give you first an understanding, I have been practicing and teaching and continuously learning and deepening my understanding about Kundalini Yoga and White Tantra. I remember when I first did my first Vipassana in 2019, I had this very visceral kind of a God's voice coming through my consciousness telling me that it's time for me to move from America to Bali, and I need to study Kundalini Yoga and Tantra. It was so interesting because I didn't really much know about these teachings in depth. Maybe I've heard the words, but it was just like it became very clear as a direction. And so I wrote it down in my journal, and then sure enough, just as I landed in Bali on the last day before the borders closed when Corona was unfolding in 2020, I found a villa that I really wanted to stay at, and it just so it happened to be the Kundalini Yoga teacher also wanted to take that villa, and we were like kind of almost arguing with her who's going to take the villa, because we first came there at the same time to look at it, and then we couldn't decide who's going to take it, so we both moved in. It's a big space, so there was spaciousness for us to be in our own energy. And then she told me that same day, she's like, hey, by the way, I really would love for you to be quiet for the next 2 weeks because I'm teaching a Kundalini Yoga training the next day. So it was this divine organization, of universe that just guided me already in that direction. And I remember I told her that I also wanted to study Tantra, and she said, well, it's good that you started with Kundalini Yoga, because when you start with Kundalini Yoga, you purify your own vessel. You understand your energy body. You address every single energetic center in your body. You understand your emotions, your subconscious stories. You really learn how to clear your own house first. And once that is cleared and your energy is expanded, and now you learn how to direct your energy correctly with intention, or when to maybe withdraw it, like you become a master of your energy, then you come and you mix your energy with other people, or maybe with one being that you really want to go very deep with. That is a correct, that's also ancient Tantra. Like the ancient Tantra began with years of meditation and purification of the vessel. There's also many texts that are coming out right now in a channeled transmission about Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene, that they were both deep mystics, and basically they practiced Kundalini yoga and Tantra. They both were first separately purifying their own vehicles through fasting, through prayers, through breathing, through being with nature, through witnessing how their energetic body works, through devotion, to just as a service. And only when the energetic blueprint was correct for them to meet, they met, and they were there to activate each other, the totality of their potential. So there's a specific order to things, and it's like a pyramid. If you don't have the base and you're just trying to jump on the top, most likely the pyramid will collapse. And so honestly, this is what I see in a lot of modern spiritual so-called teachings, when they just using the titillating language and basically primal sexual desire of people just wanting to have sex or just be validated or be touched because they're so starved for affection. And they use all of those very common needs and pain to advertise kind of a, let's just get straight to the touching Tantra practices. And people arrive and they're not purified and don't understand how their body works, and they've never meditated, and they don't understand much about the nature of desire and how to actually understand it and guide it, and not just to be at the mercy of every single desire you ever have in your body, like an animal. Like that's literally the difference between a human and an animal. A human can actually discern, where is this desire coming from? Do I actually want to act on it? Or will I choose to transmute it into something else? This is a conscious being here when we really know how to deal with that. And so I always offer a very kind of a multi-layered approach. And we start with purification, and then we start adding layers as we go along. And so this specific journey that I decided to host, something I also shared in the previous webinar, it's like I always do that. God, source, whatever you want to call it, comes to me at some point in meditation, and it just tells me, do this on that date for this long. This is what you're going to do there. This is the name. It's very much like that every time. And so this one is no difference. And I just kind of received that announcement from the source that I have to do it. And of course, it was also my life. Every training that I offer is the culmination of my current embodiment. And so I've noticed around, with just talking with my friends and observing reality, that really is, everything is about foreplay. I've talked about foreplay quite a lot with my close friends and teachers, that there's been this common word called divine union, which I also been teaching the trainings. But divine union sometimes may sound static, meaning, okay, now we have the divine union, let's do it. But really, nothing is static in this existence. Everything is continuously moving. And so then I started to feel, it's like, it's not just union, it's a dance. It's a continuous realignment of energies and tuning into what is on the other side, on my side, and then dancing with that in each waking moment. So it's kind of like a non-stop foreplay. You're just enjoying the process of engaging without ever holding on to something that you will choke it, which is, is another self-protection mechanism when we want to find a relationship and just hold it. It really is like a continuous dance. And so this energy of foreplay with existence started coming very strongly in my own awareness and illuminating to me also, of course, where am I still holding on to things because I like the way they are and I want them to stay this way, and where by liking them so much I'm actually starting to kill its beauty, and it's a tender realization. I've done it in my relationships, I've done it in some professional structures that I wanted things to be the way they were beautifully unfolding in that moment. And then I just had to recognize that there's evolution and there's shifts and people going through many expansions and contractions, and you really can never hold on to anything. And this is, kind of a painful revelation on one side if you are having something beautiful this time in your life. But it's also great revelation if you're going through and you suffer and just knowing like this too shall pass. Everything will continuously change. And therefore, what's the attitude that we can embody while everything is continuously changing? Probably the best attitude is just to enjoy. As the mantra of my Guruji, Nardanand, whoever will join this journey will receive the blessing from, his main mantra is just enjoy. Just enjoy. Just enjoy each moment to the fullest of its totality. And the way also he describes the enlightenment is that it's not some kind of a big deal, total shift, and now you are the enlightened monk on the top of the mountain blessing everybody or something. No, actually everything stays exactly as it is. It's just now you're enjoying the game with total contentment and playfulness and joy and kindness for yourself and for others. And in the process of you enjoying it and taking it all lightly, you actually do transform your reality quite significantly. And it continues to expand into more and more beauty. But basically there is zero attachment and yet total devotion and commitment to each moment with all of your love and all of your joy. So that is a description of enlightenment, per words of my Guruji, Nardanand. And I definitely strive to stay in that state for as much as I can. And all the teachings that I share guide us in that direction. But more than anything, it's the presence. It's presence and it's the sharing the intimate moments together, especially when you guys will all share and speak. In my trainings, all of my students, we share ourselves. It's like a circle. It's a real circle. You really are seen. You really are heard. And you being transmuted by the space, and you transmute the space with your voice. Like our voice is a very intimate, unique blueprint that no one on this planet has ever had, just like you, and never will have, just like you. With your unique culture background, with your unique parents, with your unique gifts and trauma or whatever else you've got going on, you're a unique blueprint of God. And so our voice is that sound frequency expression of it. And so when we come together in a circle, in a group, in the trainings that I guide, we get to share our voice and we create a unique harmony, a music of sorts. And it's a symphony that becomes more and more harmonious as we open up more and more together. So, in the beginning you come, you may feel a little cautious, oh, what can I share here? Is this okay? Can I completely lose my shit yet? Or not? And it's just we're getting to know the space. We're tipping our toes in the water to understand where we're at. And the more you're leaning into it, the more you're oh wait, I can actually relax here. Oh wow, I can be myself. Whoa, I was just received in my massive part of myself. Wow, this feels intimate. And so then you just keep expanding. And the more we all relax in this harmonious frequency circle that is guided on Zoom, but really it's just souls got together in a circle, the more magic starts to open up. You just become more courageous, you become more loving, you become more playful, become more curious, more mischievous. Really a lot of things start to happen. And those kind of things, they just gotta be experienced, which is why I always joke, when I describe my trainings, I always describe them as an orgasm, as provocative and scandalous as it sounds. And I always say it's like a lovemaking. You can talk about it, you can read about it, all of the books in the world, or you can just go and experience and make love, and then you will see for yourself. It's that. So ultimately, this is what I'm inviting people into the lovemaking with reality, and show up for it to find out what is it like. And so we're going to have the Zoom calls every week when we go through each specific chakra. If you know, there's a chakra system on Kundalini Yoga, and each chakra has a specific energy to it and a specific archetype and a story. And I've connected so many dots through astrology, through biology, through days of the week, through the colors, through the sounds of the notes, through the archetypical kind of Carl Jung kind of stories. I really understood that the 7 chakras, 7 colors, 7 notes, 7 days of the week, it's all the same truth spoken by different systems. And once you start realizing the truth, it doesn't matter what system you engage with, you already get it. You can feel the golden thread. And ultimately, this is one of my biggest devotions in life, is to help people to connect the dots so they can become empowered, sensitive enough to notice the golden thread of truth in this existence, so they're not anymore dependent on anyone, including myself. And you can just see reality for what it is, because you start seeing patterns. And once you see patterns, especially in your body, we also are like the alchemical blueprint, of course, of the consciousness. You can start handling your life with a map, meaning you don't just feel confused like, oh, this happened, now what do I do? Like, oh, life happening to me, this is horrible. You're like, oh, okay, this energetic's happening. Oh, it's in this energetic part of my body. I have this tool. I have this practice. I have this prayer. I'm going to go and take care of myself. And then you're going to go and take care of yourself, do practice for an hour, and you're like, oh, wow, things shifted. You journal about it, you share with us in the circle. Boom, you just handle it like a ninja that knows how to work as a master with his or her own energy body. And so this is the key, and I so wish children on our planet have been receiving this kind of knowledge in high school. We would have a very different planet right now, and very happy, very powerful beings that are totally expressed in their genius, if children would have received this information instead of just blindly memorizing some stupid stuff and being punished if they don't repeat it perfectly and just reciting like robots. There's really, I really do feel our education system right now is designed to suppress human potential. And so the teachings that are coming from ancient yogic traditions, they are here to awaken our potential. And, some of us are just catching up. We are adults and we still have this soul call, and we're following that. So this is ultimately what this is about. And so to give you a little bit more details, just why 11 weeks training, we have 7 chakras, because I felt a very strong call this time to include Vipassana into this training. And that's a big one. I've never done this like this. I personally have done 5 Vipassanas, and each Vipassana I've done with all kinds of different iterations. Like some of them I've done alone in the darkness, just sitting in a completely black room, not a shred of light, for 11 days and just meditating and doing my own practices. Some of them I've done with sleep deprivation with one enlightened master, where you have to wake up every 2 hours at night at 2 a.m., midnight, 2, 4, and 6 a.m. and sit up and meditate to blur the line between your conscious and unconscious, so you can become lucid all the time. Some of them I've done with some fasting and just becoming very lucid, because there's no body, nothing enters your body, and your consciousness just becomes translucent. So I've been playing with this in very powerful technology called Vipassana. And one of my dear friends, David Hans Barker, created Vipassana Online. It's called vipassanaonline.com. And he's actually launching tomorrow his massive app that will allow people to join the Vipassana anywhere from around the world for free every month from 11th through 22nd. And there's an incredibly beautiful designed system with videos, and it's structured in a way that it can honor anyone's schedule, anyone's from full-time job, and you can just do some meditations in the morning and in the evenings, to part-time, maybe like 4 hours of meditations a day, to full-time, if you just want to take a break and go somewhere, and maybe even in your own apartment in New York, it doesn't matter. Just cut your connection to the world for a moment, besides the Wi-Fi on your computer, and just press play and do the practices and meditate together. And really, honestly, I think he has done one of the biggest gifts to humanity. And I was with him when he was recording those videos for this Vipassanas. I was meditating with him at that time twice. And it was so impactful, and the way he delivers very ancient, very mystical information in such a concise, invigorating, and powerful way is beyond. I've met so many teachers, and I really do bow to him in his precision and his dedication. He was a monk for 4 years, and then he became an entrepreneur and channeled all of his precise understanding of reality into finances and became a millionaire. And then he opened a meditation center in Bali and created this Vipassana online portal. So he teaches Vipassanas in person and online and runs businesses. And he really kind of merges the story that, destroys the stereotype that business and spirituality don't go well together. They go perfectly well together if you actually really did master your attention and your energy field and became sensitive and precise. And so I personally look up to this kind of teachers and ninjas that actually can do both. It's a path of a householder, it's called, where we are realizing we're in the world, but not of it. Like we're still our own special divine soul, but we're in this really wild reality right now, and there's a lot going on. And so, we cannot, majority of us, go somewhere into the mountains and disappear and just hide in a pristine environment and just meditate. A lot of us have a lot of responsibilities and families, and just it's our soul calling to be in the world. So then what? Can we actually be in the world and show up in the deepest way to our full potential and share it with the world? Yes, we can. Is it hard to maintain your energetic field pure and your attention precise? Yes, very. Actually, it's much harder to do it in the world than in the mountains. Because in the mountains, there's no distraction, and there's such a nice air, and it's such pure frequencies, and there's no radio waves, and no people infusing your brain every millisecond. So yeah, actually, the highest and the hardest path is to be in the world and actually be on the spiritual path and make money and show up for your responsibilities and take care of your family and take care of yourself and do all of those things. It's the hardest. So just like pat yourself on the back for actually being on this path and finding even now a moment of time of connecting, even just on this webinar, among a million of other things you could be doing or have to be doing, or just take a nap or rest or take care of your laundry or do some more work or whatnot. It takes a tremendous amount of effort, concentration, dedication, and really true a vow to actually continue to do this journey. So I consider it the highest commitment, because in the modern day and age, it really is the hardest. So there's that. And so just to continue kind of like with the training that I'm sharing, we're basically going to begin tomorrow in 24 hours, our first root chakra. Each Zoom call goes on for about 3.5 hours. I explain the energy of the root chakra, for example, and then it's going to be different chakras every week. And I will provide you specific tools and questions that you can ask yourself to understand where you're at. And then I give you all a mic and you share. And in the process of you sharing, one, you will realize some things about yourself that you haven't realized before, most likely. And I will also be giving you feedback and asking you more deeper questions. So then you can go even deeper within yourself and you will find your own truth. So you will start understanding actually where you're at. Not conceptually, but actually like viscerally. We will breathe into it. We will sense it. Maybe your heart will like crack a little bit as you will recognize maybe like a pattern that's been going on in your life for a while and sabotaging your well-being. And now it's finally clear what was the root of it. And then now you're empowered and feeling loved enough to actually take actions on it. So it doesn't just come from judgment, it comes from deep compassion and deep care. And this sharp understanding and deep love are both equal parts within this path of awakening. You can't just understand everything. It actually can be incredibly painful to just understand. But if you embody also the deepest amount of love and compassion, okay, now you can actually go somewhere. There's actually love and care. Yes, all the sessions will be recorded and I will create a Dropbox folder for all of us. So any materials that I'll be sharing, any books that I will be recommending, I'm also will be using some of the teachings from Gene Keys, which I will also share in our Dropbox. Gene Keys, it's a very deep, profound teaching by Richard Rudd that's based on human design and astrology and a few other things. So yeah, it's all going to be there. So it's actually a massive system, guys, that I offer, especially the prices that I offer. I just, I just know that I have to continue to share, and I know I have my personal vow with God that basically tells me I will be continuously supported in my teachings if I continue to share them nonstop with people and meet them where they're at. That's literally my contract with God, which is why I continue to share it. And so you receive this God at Play fully already beautifully recorded practices and trainings for each chakra. So each chakra has an hour and 15 minutes Kundalini yoga class, beautifully recorded in Bali, high quality camera, sound, music, the whole shabam. You have access to it for a year after this and can practice at any time. Meditation. So meaning you receive much more subtle practices to activate that chakra, that it's more about pointing your awareness and subtle breath rather than bigger kriyas. So more of a subtle work. Then there's journaling practices, to really asking yourself the right questions and meditating on the answer and then writing it down. Then there's a lecture transmission for each chakra, which goes on for about 20-25 minutes. And then there is a royal habits or royal rituals, which are specific suggested habits, actions that you can do while we're activating the chakra. Like, for example, with the root chakra, we'll be like, go hug a tree, go lay down on the earth, clean up your house, clear the space, create a clear structure where you are organized and you're also connected to the Mama Earth, to the ground, to the roots. Ground yourself with cozy, healthy, good food that can hold your body. So there's specific things that you could be doing for each chakra in a very 3D world for it to actually be experienced. So in my training, you receive all of that for each chakra on the top of our Zoom calls that we have every week, on the top of WhatsApp group where you can ask any questions anytime, on the top of the Dropbox folder that you also have access to all the recordings and materials, and on the top of the Vipassana training and the Guruji blessing, that is my enlightened master teacher that will give blessing to all of my students. And so just a little bit more about that. So with Vipassana, basically, guys, from 11th to 22nd, there's already a whole structure that is designed by David Hans Barker, and you guys just going to log into the app, and we'll be doing your own pace in which you choose to do Vipassana full-time, part-time, or very little time. You can choose yours. And we will just be holding each other accountable as we will be meditating and sharing our experience. And so the way we're going to do it, we're going to do the root chakra for about 9 days. Ground this reality, meaning you will organize your house, your life, everything, prepare yourself for really big takeoff. If you really do it, guys, it will change your life completely. There's no doubt about it. It changed my life already a million of times, and it's because I've been committed to the practice and committing to myself and therefore to God and therefore to all beings to actually listen to that intuitive voice within and then act on it. This is what this is all about. And so we're going to do the root chakra, and then we're going to do the Vipassana. And Vipassana, it's one of the most intense tools on this planet to purify your field, to understand what are the most deeply rooted subconscious stories, fears, self-sabotaging habits that you have been having for a long while in your system. It's maybe the first time in your life that you will actually take time to really be with yourself for a while. And it's not an easy task, because when we first start to meditate, it can feel like a little confronting and boring and annoying, and you want to go do something. And you're just I just don't want to sit here attempting to meditate while the thoughts keep coming. But yet, sooner than later, the system will start calming down. And what also helps with that is Kundalini Yoga. Kundalini Yoga is called preparation for meditation. So if you do a little bit of Kundalini Yoga before your Vipassana and before your meditations, your system will relax much faster, and you just drop in effortlessly into meditation rather than trying to meditate. This is why I fell in love with Kundalini Yoga, because it got me to that deep inner state faster than any other tool on this planet, which is why I'm sharing it with you guys. And so once you drop into that meditation state, like imagine if there's a loop, like of a thought or your self-sabotaging habit that you've been participating in for a while as an emotional reaction to something that happened when you were 5 years old. And you just do it like on a reflex, like an animal, just impulse response, and it's like you can't just quite yet catch your nervous system not to react that thing, or not to, like, at least not to react right away and take a moment and actually make a conscious decision. This is how I want to respond in a millionth time? And so what happens in Vipassana, you start feeling those energies, and now instead of running away and getting busy and texting somebody and responding to Instagram and then going to use the bathroom and then going somewhere else, now you're just with it. And you can't run away, you're just sitting there. And you see it. So now the question is, what are you going to do with that? And then your consciousness starts to penetrate that thing. It's like a knot in our nervous system that can come as a habit, it can come as a tension in your back, it can come as a pain, it can come as a sleepless nights. It's in many, many ways how nervous system can express any disharmonies. And all of a sudden you just penetrate it with your awareness and your kindness. And sooner than later that knot starts to soften. And in the beginning it can feel like extremely constricted, almost painful. And that's why actually people have pain in their body in the beginning, especially meditation. It's not that their body is incapable of meditation. There's just so much pain in the body that's never been looked at and never been dealt with. And now it is, that it kind of inflammates for a moment because it's scared to be exposed. Like part of us is comfortable with what it is because at least we know what it is. That's safe enough. And of course, in the long run, that's not safe and that's not good for you. And of course, it's much better to transmute your stuck energy that's been in your body, maybe for years, maybe even lifetimes. And so ultimately what Vipassana does, it penetrates deeply enough into your engraved patterns that previously maybe have never been touched with your awareness, and soften enough, and then it just dissolves into light and into joy and into presence. And all that happens is the next time when the impulse or the trigger comes, you're just much more calmer about it. Or maybe you don't even have any more charge at all around it. And now you just respond completely differently, like a conscious, relaxed being. And that's the true power of it, And that doesn't sound like a big fanfare of enlightenment, but ultimately, that's what the enlightenment is. Before the enlightenment, chop wood and carry water. And after enlightenment, chop wood and carry water. But the way you do it is very different. You just do it with much more joy and relaxedness in your system and playfulness and just mischief of this game of life. And so this is what Vipassana is going to be about, and you will see much more. It's going to be so many insights. I'm actually personally so excited to do it. Like, this is another thing. Anything I teach or lead, I want to do. That's why I edited. I almost went into Vipassana here in Bali just by myself, and then I was like, no. Do the training and do it with people. And in that way, you have it all. And so I'm excited to do it with you guys. And so Vipassana will purify things a lot. And the whole theme of root chakra is purification. You're purifying the gunk out of your system. It's like the densest form of all of our stuck energy. It's on our root chakra. It's our survival. It's our fighting for survival. It's all the, murderous energy on this planet. Like kind of the heaviest, one of the heaviest energies on the planet are in this chakra. Yeah. And so when we purify it enough, especially with Vipassana, we're going to be empowered now to move forward. And then we're going to go, into the second chakra and so on. And second chakra is the sexual or sacral chakra. That's also a whole other Pandora box. And we will see how can we transmute it into creative energy and our projects and our expression of creativity and expression of our energy, and how can we guide it with awareness. So we don't, again, just become like horny animals that just feel aroused and act. We actually realize wait, I'm a conscious being that has a sexual energy inside of it. What do I want to do with that? How do I want to bring it in this reality in a way that is supportive, harmonious, cohesive, deeply inspiring, deeply expansive for my soul and for souls that I get to touch? And so it becomes a superpower force that actually now you guide rather than being guided by it, which is again another sign of a conscious being. You know, there's this one card in tarot cards, strength. It's sometimes 8 or sometimes 11 number, depending on what deck. And it's a woman that's holding a lion's mouth. And it represents like our wild animalistic instincts. And it's the only card on the whole tarot deck that there's a human being with an animal big enough that it can eat it. And it represents like our instincts are huge. They can eat us alive, you know. If you fall into your reflexive animal-like nature, like, oh, I'm hungry, I eat. I'm horny, I go fuck. Like, and all of those things, just like animals do. I'm scared, I'm running. Like, well, your life is going to be at the size of an animal destiny, just in the human body. And I know it's a harsh thing to say, but it's true. And it's true for a lot of humans on this planet. You know, we're just reflecting. We're reflecting to whatever happens and respond and using very little of our massive gifts, of our huge potency of awareness and free will and devotional heart that we can actually channel this incredibly sophisticated cosmic machine called human body. And so, yeah, and then every week we're going to go through each chakra, and you basically will be transforming every different aspect of your life. You know, like root chakra, it's your structure, it's your home, it's your base, it's the relationship to your body, it's the relationship to the earth. We're going to ground it and we're going to purify it. Like in the second one, we will connect to sexual energy. We will really understand if there's any traumas, work with them, transmute them, hold ourselves lovingly, dearly, and then where do we direct it? And then the third one is the willpower. It's like the warrior or the hunter energy. It's very strong, it's potent. This is where we'll really connect to our dharma. If like in the second chakra, we're just playing, it's the expression, it's creativity. You can try it in any angle, any way you want, just play. Third one is becoming much more specific. It's like, what is my path here? Like, what am I naturally good at? What have life initiated me, whether I liked it or not? And now I just have access to a very unique angle of this reality, very unique codes, because I had to handle it. And now, how can I share it to people that maybe currently are going through that? What would be my way of serving this existence with the deepest level of reverence, love, and care? And then we start channeling that in very specific actions. And then, you know, the heart chakra is the devotional. It's from me to we consciousness. So if in the third chakra is still I energy, in the fourth, it's like, now I'm the lover of the world. I'm the great divine mother and divine father. I am we. How can I love? Where can I devote myself? Where can I devote myself so deeply that giving something to someone, it feels as invigorating as receiving, if not more? Can I embody compassion? You know, this English word, when we derive pleasure and joy from witnessing other people having pleasure and joy, and like really like get high from nourishing other beings, realizing that those beings are of course the extension of us, of course. And this is where we start feeling alive and part of the life cycle, that we're not separate little identity that just needs to here to survive. We're actually here in a love dance. It's actually such a joy and a privilege to share this life together. And then we go higher into the third chakra of expression of truth and channeling like the integrity of God in word, where we become very specific about not just what we say, before what we think. What thoughts do we allow to enter into this fertile ground that can create worlds within milliseconds? And what words do we choose to keep here and grow gardens out of it, and then therefore speak it into existence and then act on it? So there's a very high level of responsibility that comes with this channel. And then the third eye, fully connecting to the divine intelligence and consciousness, your intuition. That is just the cosmic Wi-Fi that is here to remind you and guide you like a cosmic GPS where your soul needs to go. And I mean, this is what I was sharing in the beginning of this call. I've been receiving this guidance very, very specific for last 8 years. Like I just receive it and then I act on it. And I know that when I don't, it's going to be not as harmonious, not as joyful. It's like what's coming now for me, it's like I know it's the guidance for my highest path. And it really is often not so easy. And sometimes it's scary, and sometimes it asks me to do things I really, me human, really doesn't want to be doing. Or not yet, or not like that, you know? And I just realized like, but it does has the best interest in mind for you as your highest timeline. So do that, and then you will be nourished and inspired by that. And then the crown is our royalty, our majesty, our remembrance that, of course, we're the spark of the divine. Of course, we're the spark of God. And we're here to experience it in this unique meat suit, in this fun constellation of this identity for this time around. But really, we are the totality, but the totality experiencing itself through this particular angle. And how can we really enjoy it to the fullest? So, I mean, this is kind of a quick or not so quick rundown through all the journey that we're going to go with you. And another one, a really huge one, is that I also asked my Guruji Nardanand to give blessings directly to each student that will be joining this training. So honestly, it's huge. I received his blessing in 2018 and then went for my first Vipassana and just really, you know, my whole life totally transformed. And of course, I could assign it to my own efforts, and I went to the Vipassana and I did the Kundalini yoga training and I moved to Bali. I did it. I could say it. And yes, I showed up for it. But I suspect the reason why it all unfolded so beautifully and so harmoniously is because I received the blessing from my Guruji Nardanand. And, you know, I've met so many teachers and enlightenment masters and really big deal beings that have a lot of people around them. And I'm still coming back to this Guruji Nardanand because it's the purest, most selfless, unconditional energy on the planet that I've met so far. And it's a big thing to say, you know. And I've even I met like His Holiness Dalai Lama. I've met a lot of really incredible beings, and I'm not saying they're not pure. They are. They're really incredible. But for whatever reason, for my soul, the deepest, the most pure resonance of the highest level of unconditional love and joy and mischief, I witnessed in this Guruji Nardanand. He doesn't have Instagram. He requests not to have any followers. There's no any like technique, follow this or else. There's just one invitation mantra called just enjoy. And there's a blessing that you receive from him directly. And basically what he does, he just connects to your life force and sends his deepest love to it. And your life force starts to blossom in a more effortless, joyful way. That's it. Just more synchronicities, more amazing people around your life all of a sudden, more deepest insights coming through, and you just start making more and more harmonious choices. So yeah, for me, that really is what started everything now in my life, on my highest path. And you know, now Guruji is actually very well known in many, many circles around the world. He still, by principle, doesn't have Instagram. He's not interested in that, but a lot of people know him globally, and he travels everywhere and gives this free satsangs when you can meditate with him and receive a blessing, and then remember that essence. It's always with you once you receive the blessing. And yeah, I feel very fortunate that he offered me to give blessings to all of my students, like individually, just in our Zoom calls, and connect to every single one of them. So I feel it's huge. And so all of the students will receive it. We will find a time when it works with Guruji wild schedule. He's always, always, always guiding and teaching those free satsangs, meditations everywhere, online and in person. So he will give it to all of you guys. And by the way, if you don't join this training, you can still receive it. There's this link called Just Enjoy That Life. I'm just gonna actually send it to you right here, so you guys all have it, so you don't feel like you are dependent on me or on anyone else, you know. Like, and this is honestly, this is what Guruji's primary kind of a teaching, and mine as well. Like, no codependency, please. Like, no, like, oh, do it with me or you won't get it. Do it this way or you won't get enlightened. Follow this or it ain't gonna happen for you. Like, we don't practice it here. Here's the tools, choose the ones that feel good for you. And if you want to join as a fellow traveler, as a as a family, soul family member, just because it's more fun to do it together than join the adventure. So it's all from that perspective. So this is, you can also go there. It's on Mighty Networks. You can register and you can also receive a blessing there if you don't join us for this training. And with David's Vipassana, you can also do it on your own. It's vipassanaonline.com or onlinevipassana.com. One of those, either onlinevipassana.com or vipassanaonline.com. So I'm just gonna write the one I think it is, and then you can look it up, or you can just look up his name, David Hans Barker, and you will see it all there. Again, it's a free Vipassana, anyone can join. So I'm just adding these two incredible blessings, Vipassana and Guruji blessing, to the mix of the training that I'm guiding, because I just find them so incredibly precious and helpful and supportive that I just feel it's going to enrich your now experience times a million. So why not? And what else is here to share? Another thing that I will be asking a lot of students is in the beginning of our practice to record your morning practices. And I know for some people it may feel a little bit like, oh, I'm feeling exposed, I don't want to do that. Just find a way that you're actually not so exposed. You could just be your shadow of your body. You can do super dark lighting, I don't care. But do set up your phone and like a speed up version recording. I think it's Pano, it's called, whichever the mode on camera. And then you just capture yourself, with milliseconds of video of your morning practice. And then we send it all to our WhatsApp group. So what happens is we start creating a collective field of time lapse. Exactly. Thank you so much, Angela. We start building up the collective, like expanding. And so even if you forgot to practice, or you were too tired or too lazy, or like, I just can't get myself to do that yet, then you post it and you see someone else post it, and it builds that inspiration. If you feel stuck about it, write about it. Hey guys, I feel stuck about it. I can't sit my ass on a yoga mat and do the practice yet. I'm so annoyed, or whatever. And then we will hold you in that, so the more you share, the better. Because then we're in it together, and I'm like, for me, it's a deep commitment. I'm basically, guys, with you for 11 weeks nonstop. The moment I wake up and the moment I turn on my phone, probably your notifications on my WhatsApp will be one of the first ones. And I'm always answering to it. So it's like we really are merging very deeply within this journey. It's not like some distant call once a week that you may join or not join. It's like we're in each other energetic fields and we're growing together. And the level of intimacy and depth that is happening in these trainings is beyond. Like really, everybody becomes a family because we see each other through all of it. And so this platform that I have, godsatplay.com, which all will receive access to when you join in this adventure, and you will have access to it for a year. All of those practices are there. So even after the training, you can continue to do them. And so when you need to wake up in the morning and you need to do your practice, you just press play, Kundalini Yoga, root chakra, boom, enjoy. And connect it to a good speaker. So then you can be in a soundscape, because I'm using really beautiful music through all of my classes. And in that way, you kind of fly into another dimension. And if you're somewhere where you cannot play the music, put on your headphones that really stay in your head, that are comfortable, and just enjoy. So, and the Tantra part is just going to be added to all of it. And I will be adding more and more and more in each call, depending on what everyone needs. It's a very intuitive journey. But ultimately, you will be invited to become a very conscious, very present, devoted, and yet non-attached lover in every single moment. So anything you will be speaking to me about in our Zoom calls, we will unpack. Are you loving it? What kind of a lover are you right now? Are you clingy? Are you avoidant? Are you committed? Are you just trying to get the results, but you actually don't care about loving on this thing? It's a one-night stand. I see. Okay. Are you aware it's a one-night stand? So, it's just like we're going to use this kind of a provocative sexy language quite a lot to really draw the parallel that, in fact, everything on this planet, every single act is a co-creational act of elements coming together. And when we're aware of it, we can turn this existence on a moment-by-moment basis in the most delicious lovemaking co-creation process. And then it's basically a continuous perpetual foreplay. So I think I've shared quite a lot. If you guys have any specific questions about everything that I shared so far about this training, let me know. I'm gonna try to open now maybe just like one visual for you to see how the platform looks like on the back, so you understand what you may get yourself into. Course manager, carded play, and then you will see what's going on here. And yeah, I mean, you know, I'm very intuitive when I connect like that in a training. I will just tune in with what you need based on what you share. And then I will suggest to you, do this practice or do this. Would you like to commit to that? And then we as a field hold you accountable. So you actually not left somewhere out there on online space, total stranger, but actually full family connection. And so you will be receiving all of that, but also some additional very unique aspects that you need. So Saturday night class, yes, 3-4 hours, exactly. So it's right now, you know, I always tune into my students' timelines because every time it's different people from all over the world. Right now, it felt good to do it on Saturday evening, 8 p.m. New York time, 5 p.m. California time, which is 8 a.m. in Bali, where I am right now. And it goes on for about 3-4 hours. Length of training is 11 weeks. So we begin tomorrow, May 31st till August 2nd. Yeah. And so, as I said, we started with the root chakra on May 31st. It will go on for about 9 days. And then we do the Vipassana from June 11th through 22nd. And then we go on with all other chakras. So we're finished. So it's going to be Zoom weekly calls. And so the cost is, usually it's 2,022, but now I put it on 50% off. So it's at 1,111. And there's also a payment plan of 222 payments weekly, 7 payments. So it's either, I'm just going to write it here, this, or it's 7 payments of 222, 7 weekly payments. And so it becomes a little bit more, but then it's easier to pay. And again, I always share it in all of my calls, guys. If somebody really, really, really wants to join and you actually truly cannot contribute, you know, and I mean, it's a very conscientious communication, you know, like I remember my first therapist I met in New York. He was very high level, incredible being that helped me with so much. And he worked with this like really famous directors, actors, and so on. Like his one session per hour was like $700-800. And I remember I met him, I was like, I can't afford it, but I really want to practice with you. I want to do the sessions with you. And he said, okay, Luciana, I can feel your devotion. And so I want to propose to you, you offer the price that is a big deal for you. So you can feel you actually are investing in yourself. And I will just accept it from you because I can feel your devotion. And then of course you got to show up on time, you got to do the work. If I can feel that you're not going to be devoted, then I will ask you to leave. So I feel it's the same approach. And, you know, I also been doing trainings with many teachers and they always meet me where I'm at. It's this loving family energy. So if you struggle and if you really want to join and you feel this is for you, then you reach out to me directly and we will just find for you a unique payment plan or one price that works for you. And, you know, I mean, it's a lot of energy for me. Like, guys, I'm communicating with a lot of you, if you can imagine, back and forth and so on. And I'm just choosing to do that. And, you know, any teachers or anyone I talk to there, everybody thinks I'm totally insane for opening up this kind of communication. But I feel it's the right way. I really do feel it's the right way. It's personal, it's real, it's human. It's really, in this case, I'm a teacher, but really a fellow traveler. We're connecting together and we're finding the middle ground and we're honoring each other in the process, you know, and then really connect with yourself. What feels good to give? What feels like a good investment for you? And what feels like a joy to also nourish me as a person who will give a lot of my love and care and presence and hours into this really deep journey. So those are the payments. And I also, guys, will just send you here the links so then you can connect. Hold on a second, where are my notes? Zoom. You can take a look at the link of this specific course description, which is kind of like in a nutshell describes all the logistics and so on. And there's also my website Gods at Play, that kind of more in great depth describes my whole training of Kundalini Yoga. And then my Instagram and also my email address if you want to write to me or like ask any more questions. I think that would sum it up. You can copy and paste and take a look. We begin, tomorrow, so you have 24 hours to reach out to me and suggest and really tune in if this is the journey for you. You're welcome. All right. So I guess I will just show you very quickly the last final visuals, and then last 30 minutes or so, we will go with you into the deep transmission, into the Bodhisattva vow and real commitment to your soul. And, whether you join this adventure or not, it doesn't matter. This is, again, one of my gifts for you, because I feel it's always got to be that. And in my portals that I host, I always commit in such a way that there's at least half of it I give totally unconditionally, and it's full, just like, it's what divine gifted me with. This is what I'm here to give you, and hopefully you will spread it as well. And part of it, sure, sometimes it's like sales, but it really is just the clarity of communication so I can serve you. So it's all combined together. Since we're still living in a material existence and need to manage things until we become just energy beings effortlessly. All right, so share the screen. I'm going to share with you guys the structure of the course if some of you haven't seen it. So this is how it goes on the back end platform. There's a model 1 where it describes the Kundalini, the welcome, how we practice, and so on. And then we go through each model and see. So this is for each chakra what we have: the course, lecture, root chakra perspectives, which is going to be the slideshow, the meditation practices, the guided journal, and the royal rituals. And so it is like this for every chakra. So you already actually received quite a lot. Just this course alone could cost a lot, and for us it's just the base playground. And so I'm just going to show you how it looks like, so then you can kind of tune in of the energy and feel into it yourself. And so it was recorded with lots of love in Bali. So this is like one of the kriyas that we're doing. So it always begins with a warm-up, and then we go into the practices themselves, center to get... So I'm kind of like a DJ and a teacher every class. That's one of the things. It's like, it's my unique way of teaching. I really feel practice has got to be fun and joyful. Very so kind of just like on a deeper... So this is the lecture that we go into it. Then there's perspectives, which I also share in our Zoom calls quite a lot, but I go into each chakra. What does it mean? What is this color, the sign? Where is the physical location in the body? What is the sense that it represents? The orgal knowledge. It's a very deep yogic teachings. What is the element? This is what I was saying, where I will start connecting the dots and really seeing the nature of reality and understanding that there is a blueprint of truth that moves through whatever system you're mentioning. And so this is where we're going to be unpacking there. What's the plane? What's the day of the week? What's the sound, the planet? What's the sign when it's unhealthy, when it's healthy? What's the archetype? What's the god, goddess? And there's many, 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 many other things that I just mentioned as we also go on a Zoom call, but you will also have the visuals here. Then there's the meditation practice. This is for some people that were asking, like, what if I'm not physically very strong? It's okay. First of all, Kundalini yoga is not your normal yoga. It's not like hatha yoga that you do in some like crazy postures. A lot of it is just sitting down, and it's a lot about just awareness of your consciousness. And yes, sometimes we do some kriyas and we move the spine to move the energy so it opens. But for example, meditational practices, it really is about much more subtle movements. For example, on the root chakra, you just bounce your anus and your sexual organs until the Kundalini starts to awaken, and you just contract it and relax it, contract it and relax it, and just hold it and hold your breath and focus your whole attention there. And so, it doesn't look like anything from the outside, but on the inside, there's a massive energetic work that goes on that starts the process of the awakening of your life force. And so then there's a contemplated guided journaling, which really is kind of a meditational, intuitive invitation. So there's like the music, your eyes are closed. I ask some questions and you start tuning in. So what really happens, you listen to your inner Wi-Fi, your inner GPS, your inner God. And then once your inner God will give you the answers, then you journal that. So it's not so mental. It's very intuitive and sensitive. What is the total time for the entire sadhana once the program is done? I already do Kriya Yoga. It really is, you choose your own adventure. I mean, look, here, the classes that I recorded, they're for about an hour, 15 minutes. You can choose to do that. If you don't have time for it, you can choose a meditational practice, which is 18 minutes. It's about 15, 18 minutes. Just do that day if you have time for it. Once you learn the beginning of Kundalini Yoga class, some warm-up exercises are very similar. Maybe on another day you will just do the final Kriya. The final Kriya is usually the quintessence of that chakra. Tune into yourself, what you're capable of. I do recommend to spend at least an hour on your morning practice, ideally an hour and a half. So you can also integrate, lay down in Shavasana, journal about your aha moments. The deeper you go into your morning practice, the more profound your results are going to be. It's up to you. It's like diving in the ocean. You can dive 1 meter and just swim on the surface. You can dive 3 meters. You can dive 10 meters. Depending on your depth of your diving, you will encounter different creatures in there, different fishes or different treasures, depending on the level that you go. So it's always up to you, right? That's why they say it's like you can choose the fellow travelers with who you travel this path, but it's ultimately you who's taking that journey. So I'll provide you with the tools, and I'll provide you with the support system and a loving, encouraging feedback along the way, and the crew that we're going to do it together with. And so then the royal rituals is our suggestions or habits, so like as I was saying, for root chakra, purifying and grounding, begin by cleaning your home, clean all of the things that are not either practical or beautiful, make your space cozy, connect to Mother Earth, cook for yourself a clean grounding meal, take care of your body, So you can really take a look what works for you and then start choosing it. So for each chakra, there's already a full-on portal for you to really open up this journey to its highest level, And so you'll pick your own adventure with that one. Also, let me take a look if I can find right now David's Vipassana, if it's here online, vipassana.com, Vipassana online. I don't remember the exact link, but of course I will send it somewhere else. Yeah, Yoga Lab, perfect. It's here. Yeah, so vipassanaonline.com. So this is his platform. So you can just register. It's all for free. You can download an app here, and then you go and you create your own account. And this is from where we're going to be doing our Vipassana. It's so clean, so sharp, so inspiring. Honestly, I've learned a lot from David. We were kind of like both creating our own courses in 2020. When I was recording Gods at Play, he was recording Vipassana online. And just such a potent, pure, devotional being. It's really beautiful and sharp as a nail, entrepreneur, British, like with his language, just touching any aspects within our ego that would attempt to hide. And he's just so beautifully unravels it through his teachings and his training of the Vipassana. Okay, is this style of Kundalini Yoga like the one known as Yogi Bhajan? Thank you for that question. So it's a combination. I received so many trainings at this point, maybe like 12 official ones and many non-official ones. And at this point, I would say I'm a hybrid of everything everything I've encountered. So it began with the Yogi Bhajan classic system. Then I received the Hatha Yoga training. Then I received Kashmir Shaivism training. Then I received Tibetan Buddhism training. Then I just sat in Vipassana with many different teachers that have very different warm-ups, preparations for Vipassana. And then I just allowed my own body to guide me places and do what it felt intuitively correct to open up my consciousness to its highest. So I share as a combination of all of that. Like part of me almost been considering to rename my offering into Shakti Yoga, and it's already kind of beginning because really we're working with Shakti, life force. And this is also, by the way, what Guruji Nartanand is doing. He's offering Shakti Pat. You receive an initiation, and your Shakti now is on the highest timeline of awakening, most likely, potentially in this lifetime. No biggie. I mean, it's actually a really big deal. And so, Kundalini, and just the story about it, and the scandalous vibes, and the Yogi Bhajan, and everything, so badly damaged the the practice itself, that it created so much fear and so much controversy, and where's this lineage from, and did the Yogi Bhajan made this up, or who was his teacher, and so on, that it kind of created this whole heaviness. When this whole scandal started coming out, I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to continue to do the practices that really make my nervous system much better, much stronger, much calmer, much more inspired. That's what I'm going to continue to do. And continue to refine it with all other teachings that are coming my way. And stay true to myself, like beyond politics, beyond stories, beyond what anyone thinks. I will just root my experience in my embodied experience of this reality. And I highly recommend for you guys to do the same, so then you are not attached to any story or concept or even a lineage that you haven't checked yourself. That's really the difference between beginners of the spiritual path that kind of like put the feet in the water and kind of become the tourists in spirituality, honestly, and the people that really go for it and really get results and really open up their awareness and become creative, successful, joyful, radiant, healthy beings. It's those people that go themselves there and test everything on themselves, commit, show up in the morning practice. Like in the beginning, I was doing 6 hours a day of morning practice. 6 hours. I was waking up at 3 a.m. I was driving to a yoga shala. I found 3 other guys who were just as crazy about practices as I was in Bali in 2020. And we practiced every waking day from 4 a.m. till 10 a.m. every day. And then we did our delicious breakfast together and laughed and shared our stories. And it was like this incredible Sangha. Like Sangha in Indian Sanskrit means like your fellow souls on the path of awakening. And that's the reason I know I've touched such a profound levels of energy and joy, is because I just went all in. I didn't want to tippy toe. I didn't want to take many lifetimes to scratch the surface. I just want to go for it. And I was like, I'm committed to awaken this body in this lifetime. What do I do? Like, let's go, And yes, Sangha really helped me, because when I'm by myself, I sometimes didn't have enough self-discipline, or I didn't have enough inspiration, or I didn't have support, or I got stuck, or I got tired, or I got distracted. But now if you have a crew with who you practice every single day, and you can share your difficulties and your wins, well, now it's much easier. At least you have some people that you have a common language with, that get you, that don't judge you for practicing. I mean, so many people, so many of us, when we step on the path of awakening, in the beginning, it's so hard, because we're judged and misunderstood by our loved ones, by our relatives, by our co-workers. They're like, who are you? Like this white turban, in Kundalini yoga that people put on to hold your energy in the crown. I mean, there's so much judgment around everything, And so when you have at least a few people that like, I'm with you, I see you, let's keep going, things are just a little easier. You could break through that clutter of resistance of current reality and keep going on your path. So that's the journey. And so the name of my guru, Guruji Nardanand. I don't think you're gonna find much about him online besides the Just Enjoy That Life, where you can find a lot actually, because his whole sangha of people created on Mighty Networks, like a whole system where you can read about Guruji, you can learn what the blessing is, and then you can request a blessing and join on Zoom online for free and receive a blessing from him, and then meditate with him online. And if you want to join in person, there's also announcements where the retreats happen all over the world, and you can also join in person. And a lot of retreats are also for free if it's done in ashrams. And sometimes if organizers have to rent space and pay for things, then we collectively just pay for it together, but it's always the absolute minimum price just to cover the costs. So it's never like, it's not a business. It's either totally free, or we're just covering the cost together, so we can gather somewhere in a physical space and pay together for food and accommodations, whatever we're spending on. So Guruji Nardanand, and again, just enjoy that life. So there is that, guys. If you have any other questions, tell me now, because after that, we're going to go with you into the Bodhisattva vow. And again, if you feel the call to join this specific training, again, you can reach out to me, of course, directly. For a lot of the people that decided to join this training, I've created a unique link payment plan, everything just to honor your own current capabilities, but also welcome you into expansion. Like I've noticed for myself, when I really want to go through something in my life and I know it's good for my soul, like I just know it and I want it so badly and I cannot yet afford it, I just go and practice. I pray, I journal, and I ask the source. I'm like, please, source, help me. Help me to step into it. Please create the most favorable conditions for me to have enough resources so I can do this thing. Provide me with job opportunities. Provide me with divine accidents, blessings that will just fall on my head and give me what I need. Please bring the right souls into my field that can help me make it happen. And you know what? When I pray that wholeheartedly, and it is really good for my soul's evolution, the universe always organizes things just so it happens. Like I have so many stories like that, and it makes no logical sense, and it doesn't have to. It's a universal quantum field of really desiring and aligning that with your heart and with your being, and then things just happen. Yes, and so with the timing, guys, this is the one thing that I'm still inquiring and we need to confirm, because basically we have a few students in America. Some of them are from Europe. Catherine, she's in France. And so I'm considering to switch on the time instead of 8 p.m. in America, which then 2 a.m. in France and 8 a.m. here in Bali, to do the opposite, to maybe do 8 a.m. in America on Saturdays, and then it would be like 2 p.m. in Europe and 2 p.m. afternoon in Middle East and whatnot, and then 8 p.m. in Bali. This is actually what I was doing in my previous training, but then this time I don't know why I switched and suggested this. So once I know the exact amount of people that really want to join, I will just suggest to us the timeline that works well for everybody. We'll always find a way. So don't worry about that. It's more about just expressing your desire, expressing your need, and then telling me where do you live. And then we take it from there. This is not my first rodeo, and it's always like a collective alignment when we figure it out together. All right, guys, I think I've shared quite a lot about this. And from this place, I will gently transition into the Bodhisattva vow. It's such a big, beautiful energy. So originally, those teachings come from kind of like the Tibetan Buddhism, the whole word, Bodhisattva vow and Bodhicitta way. So what is that? Like Bodhicitta, it's considered to be the enlightened mind, the being that chose to, it's the state of mind that is fully illuminated, fully present, fully non-attached, and shown up in the totality of its compassion, its expression, its intelligence. That's the bodhicitta mind. And so Bodhisattva vow is the vow that a being that is not enlightened yet makes to fully step into this path of self-purification, self-illumination, self-understanding, to basically dissolve any knots, any constrictions, any restrictions in your body and in your consciousness. So then you become the embodied example, illumination of the totality of that beauty, of that light, of that creativity, of that compassion. And so that with your presence and hopefully some very aligned dharmic actions and service, you start helping other people as well come back to their light. We all have it inside of us, every single human body. Simply because you're in the body, you have a massive gift inside of you. You have a unique blueprint, you have a unique genius. It's all just a question of unlocking it and removing any obstructions out of the way. It's like I continuously make this metaphor when Michelangelo, he made this beautiful David's statue that is, I believe, now in Florence Museum in Italy. And it's so beautiful, this marble gorgeous statue. And people just ask him, like, how did you just make this gorgeous figure of David, the statue? And he said, oh, I just removed everything that was not David, and David was already inside of it. And so you're that marble chunk of goodness, and when we are starting practicing Kundalini yoga or Vipassana, or just deep inquiry within ourselves, like forget about even all the practices, just inquiry and being with yourself, you start gently removing everything which you are not. You're not your fears, you're not your judgments, you're not the stories that your parents told you, you're not the stories that the society told you. You're something much purer and innocent and divine inside. And so ultimately with this practices, with the Sangha, we finally remove all the obstructions and find the gorgeous diamond within that's always been there. So, Bodhisattva vow. Huge deal, really. I have a full kind of a word in text that we will do, just to give you a bit of a context. So this specific vow that we will be doing today, it comes from the sacred text of Bodhicharyavatara, which is the way of Bodhisattva by Shantideva, which is one of the main kind of like monks from the Mahayana Buddhist tradition. And it's very potent. There's a shorter version and there's a longer version, and it basically combines kind of like the three things. Kind of like first, just the opening of the space, acknowledging all the Buddhas, all the light beings that have ever existing, or will be existing on this continuum of time, that are here to share the light of awareness, and just greeting them, welcoming them, and asking them to stand right by you and to protect you and to support you on this path of awakening. So you actually join in a cosmic family, cosmic Sangha of beings. Again, this cannot be taken lightly. It's huge. It's really aligning with the most benevolent high forces. And it can get as deep as you choose to open your heart to it. You know, like if the person is judgmental, says, oh, this is all nonsense, I don't believe it. Okay, it's not going to happen then. It's fine. Just don't do it then, you know. And if you will believe in it, and if you choose to commit to it, then it will become yours. It really is yours. So it's the level of your depth and opening of your heart, and therefore showing up for it, that will happen. I will do my absolute best, finish it within 25 minutes. So you can pick up your son. And then the second one is the actual vow itself, just stating, I'm stepping into this path, I'm going to do this, I'm here for it, I'm here to purify myself, I'm here to acknowledge every step of the way and really show up for it. And actually really, I'm committed to transmute any of my unconscious, any of my fears, any of my confusion into more light, into more awareness, into more kindness, into more devotion. I really commit to it. And the third one is the closure, thanking all of those energies and choosing to step into this path. It's kind of like a three-way journey. And you can kind of recite it together with me as I speak. And in that way, it becomes yours as well. There's one thing that I want to mention with you very quickly before I do the words. And it's actually Tenzin Palmo. It's one of the Daikinis, Tantrikas that I've met recently in Dharamshala. She is one of like close, direct also disciples, and I mean, she also could be a fellow traveler with Dalai Lama. She meditated in a cave for 12 years. 12 years alone in the mountain as a young woman in her 20s. And 3 years out of this 12 years, she created a wooden box in which she sat up straight so she wouldn't lay down, because the highest level of consciousness and highest voltage of energy can move when our spine straight. So out of this 12 years, for 3 years, she didn't lay down. Just so you can sense the level of devotion and depth of intense spirit that's moving through that woman. She's still alive. I met her and I actually interviewed her. It was one of the most profound experiences, conversations, if we can even call that, transmissions that I have ever experienced. And she's still teaching. I think she's in her 80s now. And so she's sharing this one thing about the Bodhisattva vow. You know, because the Bodhisattva vow basically says, oh, sorry, I just texted to Lila, but I'm going to text it to everybody. Her name, so just so you guys can have it encoded in your consciousness. So the Bodhisattva vow is basically commitment to your own liberation and then to liberation of all beings, animals and plants and trees and humans. So you really say until everyone and everything is in total harmony and joy, I will not stop serving. I will not stop showing up. I will not stop loving this reality in each waking moment. I will not stop being meticulous with how much I look at myself and really do my best to stay at the highest level of awareness and presence. You know, it's basically that in a nutshell is the Bodhisattva vow. Now, there's a question of how do you want to show up for other beings? Like, let's get to the practicalities of it, right? And so Tenzin Palmo describes this three ways: the king, the boatman, and the shepherd. And you can choose which one resonates with you. And I'll share with you later on which one is mine, or maybe you already could guess. So the first one is the king, or queen, if you're a woman. It means that, especially like in ancient times, what the true royalties were doing, they would choose the hardest path first, they walk it alone, and they become the example, the embodiment of it, sometimes through massive sacrifice, most likely. And that embodiment, that path illuminates then the journey for everyone who's coming after. So the kings before would go on the front line. They would go and they would do the hardest job. They would be like, I commit totally. And then if you feel inspired by my devotion, by my commitment, come along. You know, this is the true kingship. And you know, I've actually got some experienced it lately in Bhutan. Still in goosebumps from that country. You know, I connected with the people and was invited with this whole crew that works for the king of Bhutan, His Majesty, and his wife, and, you know, spoke to locals, and they all say that, like, it's all because of the king. I'm devoted to the king. In the beginning, like, you know, my Western ego was like, what's up with you and the king? Like, just focus on your own dharma, you know? And they're like, no. He's so devoted. He's more devoted than any of us. And that's why it's so inspiring to support him, because he's already borrowing through and we also joining. It's such an honor to do it with him together. We're looking eye to eye. We see the same vision for this country. We're so overjoyed to do it together. So it's that kind of like total devotion, total sacrificial, like I'm going to show up for it totally. So that's the king in its true honorable sense. You can choose that. You can basically walk your path, maybe go onto that mountain, or however you choose to awaken, truly. And then maybe your journey will become the illuminating path and inspiration for other people. Second one, boatman. In that one, you're on a boat, you're on the path of awakening. And you're not enlightened yet. And you meet other people and you say, would you like to join my boat? Let's boat together. And you're definitely moving and you keep expanding, but the people with you are expanding as well. So you do it together. And in that way, you inspire each other, you learn from each other. Yes, maybe sometimes you take a little retrieval moment for your own inner meditation, of course, within it. You're not like attached to each other hip per se, but you are like, you're together. And that's my personal path. You know, that's why I call a lot of times when I write emails, I write fellow traveler. Because I don't consider myself enlightened, but I'm definitely on this path. And I'm definitely continuing to learn and expand every single moment. And so it's a true joy and a privilege to share it with a few people on this path together. And so maybe you're a boatman, maybe you will be a woman and you will just invite people on your adventure and you will do it together and you will learn together. And the last one is called the shepherd. It's a bit like a diminishing term, but again, it comes from ancient associations. But it's like the shepherd with the sheep that actually the most selfless. What he does is he first creates conditions or find the pastures or whatnot, sends the sheep to receive it, and then he's the last one to join. Like, that's like, you know, I would call honestly mothers the shepherd. Like, that's pretty high level of enlightenment. It's for a lot of mothers on our planet. They're already doing it. They're selflessly giving themselves. They're feeding the children. They're showing up. Nobody maybe will ever see it besides the child. You know, there's a lot of like things on this planet that are really not acknowledging the fact that there's a lot of selflessness already happening on this planet, and it's not celebrated and it's not acknowledged. And so it's that selfless, like, I'm here to create the best environment possible for you. It is my honor and my pleasure. And if no one will notice it, it's okay. I still have a deep joy showing up. So that's that. And you can choose for yourself which way you want to show up on this Bodhisattva vow and path. All right, guys. And so now, how do I do this? I think I'm going to give you the shorter version first, just so you can feel it. And then for some of you that want to stay for longer, we're going to recite it for like maybe 10-15 minutes longer. But I first just want you to receive this transmission as it is. So first one is the refuge in the three jewels, or basically the connection to the lineage of all the beings that have been on this path of illumination. And so I'll repeat it once, and then you can repeat it after me together. And so before we do that, I just welcome you to sit up straight and maybe just move your spine a little bit and connect to this incredible vessel, this cosmic vehicle called human body. And just take a deep breath in into the nose. Hold it for a moment. Deep breath out. Relax completely your belly, your heart, all of your being. Take another deep breath in. Focus on the third eye point. And a deep breath out. And again, relax your shoulders, your belly, your heart. Let go of everything. And the final one, deep breath in. Straighten your spine, open your shoulders. Feel the majesty, the divinity of your being. Hold your breath. Lock your root lock, which means squeeze your anus, your sexual organs, your low abdominals. Focus on the third eye point. Stay here for a moment in a pause. And a deep breath out. And now just relax your being. And if you feel cold, you can put the hands in a prayer position right in front of your heart. Or you can put the hands on your heart, on whichever way feels correct for you. Maybe it's on your throat, maybe it's on your belly, or maybe just sitting straight. Just really tune into your own body and what feels correct. And I will say one line at a time, and we will repeat it 3 times, each part. So first one is the refuge. We're taking the refuge in the enlightened beings. I take refuge in all Buddhas. And you can say it. Who dwell in every direction. I bow with reverence to the Dharma and to the noble Sangha. That was the first time. Second time, I will quicken it. I take refuge in all Buddhas who dwell in every direction. I bow with reverence to the Dharma and to the noble Sangha. That was the second time. And the third time. I take refuge in all Buddhas who dwell in every direction. I bow with reverence to the Dharma and to the noble Sangha. And just let yourself bask for a moment. Envision the light beings surrounding you and supporting you with the light, with their encouragement, with their protection, celebrating you for choosing to step into this path of giving the Bodhisattva vow and really choosing to awaken in this lifetime and share your light with all. Second part is the generation of bodhicitta, the vow itself. Just as the old Buddhas of the past first aroused the awakened mind and progressively followed the path of the Bodhisattvas, so do I too, for the sake of all beings, arouse the bodhicitta and make the vow to train in the steps of the Bodhisattvas. One more time. Just as all the Buddhas of the past first aroused the awakened mind and progressively followed the path of the Bodhisattvas, so do I too, for the sake of all beings, arouse the bodhicitta and make the vow to train in the steps of the Bodhisattvas. And one last recitation of this second part. Just as all the Buddhas of the past first aroused the awakened mind and progressively followed the path of the Bodhisattvas, so do I too, for the sake of all beings, arouse the bodhicitta and make the vow to train in the steps of the Bodhisattvas. And allow yourself now to feel the fire of your devotion in your belly, in your heart, or maybe in your root chakra. And feel that devotion to the illumination of your consciousness, of your body. And commitment to the path of awakening and serving other beings simply with your presence. And then from that space, in whichever way your soul feels called to serve. And then there's another part. Today my birth is fruitful. My human life is justified. Today I have been born into the family of the Buddhas. Now I am a Bodhisattva. Hence I will act as to live up to this soul family. I will not defile this noble, faultless lineage. One more time. Today my birth is fruitful, my human life is justified. Today I have been born into the family of the Buddhas. Now I am a Bodhisattva. Henceforth I will act so as to live up to this family. I will not defile this noble, faultless lineage. And one more time. Today my birth is fruitful, my human life is justified. Today I have been born into the family of the Buddhas. Now I am a Bodhisattva. Henceforth I will act so as to live up to this family. I will not defile this noble, faultless lineage. And a final, shorter, just closing dedication. For as long as space remains, for as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain, to dispel the miseries of the world. One more time. For as long as space remains, for as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain, to dispel the miseries of the world. And one last time. For as long as space remains, for as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain, to dispel the miseries of the world. And allow yourself to take a deep breath in, just for a moment, to bask in this big threshold of the choice, of the vow, of commitment, of welcoming into your soul family. Thank you so much for your trust, for your opening, for your commitment, for all of you. And just for the last few moments, I welcome you to bask in the beauty and significance of this journey. I have actually never done it with anyone online. I've read it to myself, but I've never done it with anyone, so I feel it's very precious actually to share this moment with you. Feeling deeply honored to be the invitation bridge for you to step into this. So precious. If you guys want, I also can share the text with you here, so then you can copy and paste, so you can remind yourself of this journey. And there's like a little explanation, where is it coming from, so you can have it all and really enjoy the vow on a daily between you and the divine. The only thing that only allowed me how many? Gonna split it. Let's see. Maybe from here. So that's one part, and then the second part is second. Okay. Let's see if I can just do that. All right. And the closing. All right. Yeah, my pleasure. My deepest pleasure. And truly such an honor to share the space with you guys like that. Wow. Honestly, one of the most, I've been sharing quite a few magical moments online with people, but I have to say this is by far one of the most meaningful ones. And yeah, I'm amazed at the intelligence, how the universe just requested for me to do it yesterday. As I was posting some Instagram stories and announcing the Zoom call, I'm just constantly amazed at the guidance that does it for all of us. Yeah, guys, and I just really welcome you to celebrate this dedication. You know, like I shared, I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram. I'm on Instagram, aliciana.ra. And I'm just gonna write my name here. I posted there yesterday, I went to Dharamshala and spent time with Dalai Lama, and actually had the privilege to stay at his house with his brother and the wife of his brother, and interview them, and then speak to Tenzin Palmo. There's women who meditated for 12 years. And then I went to Nepal, and then I met the closest oracle of Dalai Lama, Kadrola, who's this lady who walked barefoot from Tibet and fully clairvoyant. She's opening a Daikinya school right now for women in Nepal. Just such pure beings. It's beyond. And, I really started understanding something with them, that it's way beyond. Dalborka, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining. My pleasure. Reach out if you have any more questions. I really realized I used to resist lineages and honestly cults of personalities. Like I was just so especially with this whole Yogi Bhajan story, but just overall, I witnessed so many stories of enlightened teachers and masters that, okay, they were not fully enlightened, otherwise they wouldn't do it. Beings that gained enough of energetic power to then abuse it. And the whole structure they would create around it, and everybody bows to them. And it's like this energetic egregor that plugs into the energetic field of people, and then they give it to that teacher. And just this whole thing would repulse me to no end, which is partially why I would constantly look for practices that I could do alone. And I would just experience my own things, and I'll see what's working, and that's it. And I don't need any kind of entanglements or codependencies. That was really my thing. And, and then, and at the same time, I met Guruji Nartanand, who was like, well, you don't have to do anything with me, and you don't have to follow anything. You don't have to do anything. I just love you. So if you want to spend time together, you can come and spend time together. It's free. And if you don't, it's also okay. But I just gave you the blessing, and you can enjoy it for the rest of your life. Or if you come back, I can send you more blessings just if you ask for it. There was just so non-attached and just so much unconditional love that I was like, well, okay, this doesn't feel like some kind of a manipulation contract. So I think I'll check that out. And he just kept showing up with so much love that I just couldn't deny it, that I'm actually blessed beyond measure to meet an enlightened being that's just here to love me and to support me. That's it. Greater gift, honestly, hard to imagine in this very conditional reality. And so, with this lineage of Tibetan teachers and masters, I also was I knew it was very pure, powerful teaching, but I was very comprehensive about archaic teachings or teachings that are stuck in the old way or in any shape or form not fully alive, and they're just doing it because that's how they've done it before. Anything that is stuck and not present to the moment of now, I'm personally not interested in. And so then I met these beings, and I could just see that, oh my gosh, they're so pure, they're so devoted, they're so loving, and the practices and the teachings they're shared, they just work. So absolutely, you can do everything on your own and try to recreate the will, and you still have to trust and test everything anyways within your own body. But isn't it nice if some other enlightened masters will just give you a couple of shortcuts and epic practices and ways that can just amplify and expand your journey a little more joyfully, maybe a little faster, maybe with just more impact? Why not? If you're blessed to meet beings like that are actually pure. And so this is how I feel about this whole thing, lineage from Mahayana tradition that came from the Padmasambhava that apparently came from India, but then settled in Tibet, and then settled in Bhutan and Tiger's Nest, and then mixed the knowledge of the Tibet and Bhutan and kind of all into one thing, and produced a lot of enlightened beings in the process. And I mean, this is what they say, if you want to look how impactful the teacher is, look at their students, look how much they've embodied that light, how joyful they are, how loving they are, how committed they are to the path. That will tell you everything. So it really is coming from there. And so you guys, I'm just deeply honored to share this lineage with you, this incredibly potent vow that's been spoken by so many souls. Imagine, this is a sacred text that I just read to you, and you just joined the energetic field of those beings. So yeah, I'm just deeply honored, grateful, inspired to share this moment with you. yeah. And if you have any more questions or comments or inspirations or anything that you want to share, I would absolutely love to hear from you guys. Also, I would love for you to turn on your camera, see some of my friends, August, Andrea, Catherine, Kirsten, Angel. Guys, turn on your cameras. Really would love to see your face. Nicole, Leila, Suzanne, Luca. Come on, guys, out of your cave. It was so magical to really connect with you here, you know, really see each other. Hi, oh my gosh, so much nicer when I see people. I sometimes get the Zoom calls, I'm like, I don't know, maybe those people like don't even are not even there. I don't know. I mean, I hope. So good to see you guys in real human flesh and in presence. Yay! And the rest of you, please come out, guys. Don't hide. So yeah, if anybody wants to just turn on the camera, say hi, say how you're feeling, share anything, ask anything, please do. Let's just kind of use this time for whoever has a moment to connect. Let's connect for another like 10, 15 minutes and then we go. Greetings. Nicole, come over here. I see your face first. Do you know how to unmute or should I unmute you? I think maybe Lily can unmute you.
Oh,
Oh, perfect. Yes. Hold on. You're muted again. Unmute.
hi.
Ah, good to see you. Good to
You're
hear you.
such a beautiful soul. Thank you so much. That was such a beautiful experience. It really was. I really appreciate that so much.
Mm,
Felt it. I actually cried a little bit because I just felt just the embodiment of it. It just felt really beautiful to me. So I really appreciate that. I'm probably gonna cry again because I get emotional. But thank you so much.
thank you so much. Do you want to share if you feel inspired, like about this tears moment, you know, because it's so precious, like to actually cry in those moments? Like, could you share why it touches so much that like you almost want to cry about it?
It's interesting because I find that there's this like deep moment within all of us, at least personally for me, that when let's say if there is sadness or if I have these moments where I am crying, where that silence comes in and it's so comforting. There's something about that, like the connection of the crying and then the silence, but it's
Yeah.
not, it's like I'm completely like in this enveloped hug, if that makes sense. Like I feel supported. I feel
Mm,
supported by the universe.
such a good feeling. We're not alone in this. There's so many physical humans and other sentient beings that are here supporting us on this journey. How magical is
Yes.
that, right?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nicole. So good to hear you and to feel you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. All right. Like with Susan, we're going to try to turn on the camera. Kirsten, do you want to come say hi?
Hi. Thank you so much for that. That was very beautiful. I'm not sure if I will join your practice, but I would. I've really appreciated being here, and
Mm,
I love Kundalini, but I work full time. It's really hard to weave everything in, and I live in New Zealand, which means inevitably the time zones are out of whack for me, and I'm usually
well,
starting at 4 o'clock in the morning.
unless I change it to 8 a.m. American time, and then it's going to be 2 p.m. in New Zealand, then it will work.
Uh,
I may just do that,
yeah,
actually.
depends on what day it is because yeah, that
Saturdays or
that
Sundays.
could work.
If you have questions,
Yeah,
reach out. But if not, it's perfect. And you know, you
yeah.
can also do Kundalini yoga practice in my course, first two modules are always free. So if you go and you just
Okay.
log into your email, you have access to it anyways. So you can just practice on your own if you like, just to try first.
Mm, I have done Kundalini and I've done it by myself. Yes.
Nice,
Thank you.
nice. Amazing.
Thank you so much. It's
Thank
been wonderful to be here.
My
I'm still
pleasure.
so blessed.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining. My pleasure. My pleasure. Hello, Luca. Luca, come say hi. I don't know, the mics are questionable. Yes.
Hi,
Hi.
it's 3 or 4 a.m. In the morning here. And I wake up, I don't know, I feel called to follow this, and it was the right decision because I wake up, I put the alarm on 1:30 a.m. Then I wake up, I say, no, I go to bed, I'm tired. No, say, no, no, I'm listening, and it was the right call. I will write you an email soon for the payment plans because I have some troubles with money right now, but this really resonates with me. It was
Mm.
really, really a blessing. I feel called for this.
Thank you so much, Luca. Wow, look at this devotion, guys. 1:30 a.m. alarm. Talking about that.
4 a.m. It's 4 a.m. now. In Italy, it's
Bodhisattva vow in practice, ladies and gentlemen. Amazing. Wow, Lucas, so beautiful to feel your excitement and your joy, like for me, that's just always a confirmation from God. Like I'm doing the right thing and I'm doing the right thing with the right people. When we feel that like, let's do it together. So truly thank you for being. Such a pleasure, such an honor. And then, now I think, look, you inspired me to change the time. I think I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna do my Bali evening time. So then in America it's 8 a.m. and then in Europe it's 2 p.m. because you're at least second or third person in Europe who's like, it's 2 a.m. in Europe if I'm joining it. Please change something. So, so I think I'm gonna change it so then we could actually do it together. Luca, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to share?
uh, uh, I hope to find a way to pay because I want to do the. I'm not an expert of Kundalini. I bought your course, God Set Play, without knowing what that was. Only the first. I do the first probably
Mhm.
2 parts, and it's a new thing. And well, I don't know. It's like a jump into the unknown, which normally I don't do because I feel a lot of resistance. But it's only coming from here. But from here, I say, no, no, do this thing, do, and so let's really listen to this part.
I love it. It's your soul talking. And mine just has to follow.
But
Amazing.
normally it's not this way. It's like the mind is saying, no, no, we have to think, maybe another time. No, but this time, no. Sometimes it's good to let it out.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe at some point you'll be doing it all the time, not just sometimes. And you will see that it
So,
actually has your best interest always. Amazing, Luca. Well, reach out to me. You have my email, yeah? Aliciana@guidedplay.com, and then we will find a way with you. I know that. So I'm gonna figure it out. Thank you so much. Thank you for your presence and your magic and following your heart. So beautiful. All right, we still have Angel. If you want to share and say hello, and maybe with Susan we can speak on the mic if the camera doesn't work. And if Angel will join us, then great. I also do know some people are driving. Lila just wrote to me. Thank you so much for the session. Da couldn't
Yeah,
join, but I appreciate the session. Thank you so much, Lila. Yes, Angel, can you speak?
yes. I turned off the camera because I'm actually a little bit sick. So
No worries, no worries.
yeah, yeah. No, it was great. It was definitely like a break from everything. Just a break and at the same time like a way to reconnect. Because sometimes we get caught up in all the craziness of the world, and I've been having several losses in my family, so that's been kind of with the grieving, and then after the grieving, then I got ill. But I'm working my way back, and then like I said, this is a break from all the craziness. It was great. Thank you.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Thank you so much, Angel. Yeah, and guys, I mean, today was mostly just conversation, lecture, and it's a big part, the Bodhisattva vow. But we didn't do any Kundalini activation today. It's just time. I entered to this portal and I do my best to cover everything that needs to be covered. But do practice, guys, because then the whole other energetic capacities opening up. And as I said, godsatplay.com, you can just try it for free, first 2 modules, and see for yourself. And then, of course, if you want to join this adventure for Play with Existence that's starting tomorrow, then reach out to me and we will have all the recordings and everything. So it's always there. And yeah, Susan, if you want to just turn on your mic. Angie, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, Susan, if you want to speak into the space without the camera, feel free to do so. Tune in with yourself if that's the right time.
I want to thank you for what you did today. It was a very heartwarming, and I feel very grounded right now. I've had some health issues that this just feels like it's like my body and my soul are just crying out, please, please, this is what we need. So I'm hoping to get signed up tomorrow. What is the latest I can sign up in order to join it? It's 6 o'clock tomorrow in Denver, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, just any time in the next 24 hours. And I mean, even if you miss it, you will receive a recording, but of course it's better if you join, so then you can be there with us. We will start at 8 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow.
Okay.
So in 24 hours, like 22 hours from now, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you change the time to daytime for the United States, would it be 8 o'clock Eastern time?
Yes, 8
So
a.m. We probably will
so
just
it'll be-
change hours. Most likely.
Okay.
I
So
will.
it'll be-
Know. Oh yeah. Also, Susan, if you join in, send me your WhatsApp, because I will be creating a WhatsApp group where we actually will all start communicating, and then we will pick the time that works for everybody the best.
Okay.
And Luca, also
Okay.
send me your WhatsApp number, please. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Okay, Susan.
Thank
So
you.
much. My deepest pleasure, my deepest honor. Truly, thank you. Yeah, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining. I'm just gonna. There's Kristen. Thank you so much. I need to go. Lovely to meet you. Have a strong call to be out here, out of the blue. So I will look further into the adventure. Yes, yes, yes. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Kristen. Yeah, it's my superpower, and I guess my problem, if you can call it a problem. I do think sometimes super last moment, and it's just how my cosmic GPS works so far. Sometimes it gives me weekly notice, sometimes a monthly, sometimes next day. So I just show up. Thank God there's Lily who's supporting me on this from the New Mind Start team, where I'm also sharing my courses. So we can like send out the email blast last moment, and whoever meant to come, just come. It's always like this divine lottery. And it's always perfect. And people's like, I don't know, I just opened the email, I just saw it, I just felt the call to shore, and it just happened. And so I know it's this cosmic organization of energies that just does its own magic, and we just each doing our own part, and everything else aligns perfectly. All right, guys. Well, I want to thank you for your time, for your presence, for showing up, for opening up your hearts, and for really choosing to step into this Bodhisattva vow and commit to the awakening. And whichever way you do it, whether it's with me or with someone else, or just really on your own, and really your most direct relationship, which is you and God, in whichever way resonates the most, I really wish for you to continue to deepen that connection with your soul, with your body, with your heart, and become that very relaxed, very harmonious expression of the source in your unique way, in a moment by moment basis. And may this really be perfect and beneficial for you. And actually, just came, I want to share with you guys one final blessing that came to me in a very unique ways. When I started teaching retreats, I just would like bless people with sage and some feathers, and it got crystallized into very specific words that now I whisper into people's ears when they come to my retreats in person. And a lot of people already asked me to record it and put a music on it. Haven't done it yet, but I will do it with you live here. So I'll just give you this final blessing. It's literally like 3-4 minutes. So if you want, just close your eyes, take a deep breath in, deep breath out. I'll give the blessing, and then we'll close it in that way. And just allow yourself to receive and fully feel it and be nourished by that. Dear soul, may I bless you with remembering that love is flowing through every cell of your being effortlessly in every moment. And it's always up to you to remember it and to embody it. May I bless you with remembering that the universe loves you, supports you, holds you, and embraces you in each moment, in the form of your loved ones, your friends, absolute strangers, and your obstacles, especially your obstacles. They're lovingly designed by the universe just for you, so you can step into your unique highest self with the highest level of grace, courage, mischief, and compassion. May I bless you with remembering that you can effortlessly blur the line between the work and the play and forget what is what, and just dance with life, with pleasure and honor in each moment. May I bless you with remembering that the angels of playfulness, naughtiness, mischief, and curiosity are always hiding right there behind your shoulders, waiting for the invitation to play. And it's always up to you to invite them, and they will be right here. And last but not least, may I bless you with remembering that you are infinite, undying, center and source of love that is never dependent on the outer circumstances. You're like the sun that is shining with its own unique radiance, love, and wisdom, because it is our nature. Thank you so much for being you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for choosing to walk this path with so much seen and unseen grace, courage, and compassion. May you continuously to be blessed with remembering that you are the divine bridge, the vehicle between the divine and the physical, and you're here to embody it all and to shine it with so much joy and so much love. And may you always attract into your field the most aligned beings that are truly here to support you on the path of awakening and with whom you can share this journey in profound remembrance that we are one love in form. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Namaste. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I see you. And I'm looking forward to growing and expanding together in whichever way. Sending you all so much love and see you soon. Namaste.